What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we are bringing the heat with a Solar Titan build for y'all, utilizing the all-new buffed, if you will, Ashen Wakes, bringing these things back from the dead, allowing fusion grenades to have throwing speed increase, explode on impact, and now they stun unstoppable champions. Final blows with the fusion grenades also grant energy for our grenades, so we are using this with our bonk hammer. Yes, that little bit of nerf happened, but with impact induction, grenade kickstarter, as well as the perk bringing the heat on our exotic arms, we're able to spam some fusion grenades as well as be able to stun every single champion with this build. So you can take this into basically any type of content you can think of, master, raids, everything like that. So let's get right into it. Starting us off right here with our Sunbreaker. You can see we got our 100 resilience and 100 discipline, so we can really spam those fusion grenades. On our helmet, we're going to have solar and strand dual siphon, because we're using solar and strand weapons, allowing us to create orbs of power everywhere with this build. On top of that, Ashes to assets, we gain some super energy on those grenade defeats, and we're going to be spamming our fusion grenades everywhere, so we're going to be able to get our hammers very, very quickly. On top of that, we are spreading the love with powerful friends right here, allowing us to give armor charge to nearby allies when we collect an orb of power. Moving on to the Ashen Wakes, bringing the heat, like I said, fusion grenades gain increased throw speed, explode on impact, stun unstoppable champions, while final blows also give us that grenade energy. So on top of that, to help us get that grenade energy, we're going double impact induction. This does now need to be powered melees, but we are using bonk hammer, so that'll always be a powered melee unless we lose our hammer. On top of that, grenade kickstarter, when we have that grenade energy fully expended, we get some armor charge consumed and a little bit of energy back. So this, paired with the defeats of the grenade, we're able to spam the fusion grenades that we are using very, very often with this build. Plus we do have sunspots as well. Now, on our chest piece, we're going for protection, concussive dampener with arc resistance, void resistance. You can change these out for whatever you want. Stasis, solar, arc, totally up to you. And also this you could change out for sniper or melee, depending on the activity you are going into. Now onto our boots. Elemental charge right here. All those fire sprites that we are going to be creating are going to give us an escalating chance of giving us armor charge. Since we're going to be creating orbs everywhere, we're using fire sprites as well. So we basically never run out of that grenade kickstarter by always having armor charge. On top of that, we're going to have Innervation and Absolution to get our abilities back even faster when we pick up our orbs of power, specifically our grenades with Innervation. Last but certainly not least, we got Reaper and Double Bomber on our class item to get our grenades back even faster while creating even more orbs of power. Now, when we move on to weapons, for me, I am using the Dragon's Breath Exotic right here with the Catalyst. One reason is because that Catalyst allows us to create even more fire spreads when we are defeating targets. So fire spreads are important. They give us back our grenade energy, and we're using some with our aspects and fragments, you will see in a second. But this thing is pretty great with the solar synergy and doing damage. On top of that, we got the Abyss Defiant with Reconstruction Incandescent, helping us to spread even more of that scorch around, pairing with the solar synergy. Now we have the Scatter Signal right here, or the Incisor, the new Trials Trace Rifle that is strand, something in the strand category because of our artifact that we are using this season for that dual siphon, as well as some unraveling rounds. Plus this is that nice slower charge, 460, so we're actually doing some nice impact damage, kind of the same right here as a Cartesian coordinate. Feels very, very good to me. Still looking to craft mine, only about one pattern away. Now, moving on to our artifact, which makes this build even better this season because of a few different things. First off, we are obviously going to have our Overload auto rifle for that Abyss Defiant, and because we're using fusion grenades for Unstoppable, and you will see with Unraveling rounds we can do the anti-barrier, so we can stun every champion with this build. Right here we got the Flame, Fiber, and Freeze, combines that Solar and Strand mods, so we can get that Siphon on both of those defeats. Kindling Trigger, Radiant causes Solar weapons to apply Scorch to unscorched combatants. This is super easy since we are using Ember of Torches. With our Bonk Hammer, we're going to be Radiant basically consistently. On top of that, we're going to be using Torch, so while Radiant, we deal increased weapon damage to combatants affected by Strand and Stasis debuffs, which we will have a Strand debuff because of our one weapon that we are using, and this mod right here with Unraveling Orbs. When we pick them up, we get Unraveling Rounds, which can stun anti-barrier, plus we can apply that debuff for Torch to proc, allowing us to do even more damage. On top of that, we got Heart of the Flame, casting our Solar Super nearby allies grants Radiant, also increases the damage of our super for each nearby ally, so when we're in a raid or something, we pop our hammers next to those 5 other guardians, our super is going to be juicing bosses, so that is super cool in my opinion. On top of that, Revitalizing Blast right here, causing damage with solar abilities, weakens champions and bosses for a short duration. Since we're going to be having our Bonk Hammer, plus being able to spam fusions, this will be nice for weakening those champions and bosses. Right here, we got that Strand weapon. If we break combatants' shields, we have the chance to suspend them because of our fusion rifle. And the last, we got Rays of Precision. Well, Radiant Solar Final Blows, Precision Final Blows cause combatants to ignite, which just pairs with the solar synergy of this build, causing even more of those fire sprites to spawn, Scorch, everything like that. Bringing it full circle right here, y'all, we got our abilities, aspects, and fragments. We got the Hammer of Soul, allowing us to do some pretty nice damage with specifically that Revitalizing Blast on our artifact. Now, we are going to have Towering Barricade, Strafe Lift with the Bonk Hammer. Yes, I know we have that little 1.25 for getting the Bonk Hammer back, but you will see the process of this build. You don't need to throw it consistently because we're going to have our Fusion Grenade up also very fast with this build, so it is nice to not have to throw your hammer consistently, but we're getting impact induction all the time because this is always going to be a powered melee. Now for our aspects, we got Roaring Flame and Soul Invictus. Roaring Flame, each final blow with those solar abilities or ignitions increases the damage of solar abilities, so this will help our Bonk and Fusion do even more damage to those combatants. And Soul Invictus solar ability final blows are hammer impacts, and defeating Scorch targets creates sunspots. These do last a little bit less than they did before, but our abilities recharge faster and our super drains more slowly while we are inside of these, so it is nice to stand inside of it. You can get your grenades back even faster when you're inside of one of those sunspots, so it is crazy. Like I said, you can see in the gameplay that it is just spamming our solar abilities. And finally, we got our Fragments with Ember of Torches, so we can be Radiant consistently with Bonk Hammer and getting those powered melee attacks against combatants. Right here, Ember of Blistering, getting us our grenade energy back even faster because of all of those ignitions that we are creating, like I talked about earlier with our artifact mods, our weapons dealing Scorch, and just our abilities in general. So Ignition's getting grenade back even faster. Ember of Searing, defeating Scorch targets grants us melee energy and creates fire sprites. More importantly is the fire sprites for this build, because when we pick them up, it will grant us grenade energy as well. And last but certainly not least, Ember of Empyrean, solar weapon final blows or ability final blows extend the duration of Restoration and Radiant. So we are gonna have that Radiant up all the time, like I said, because of our throwing hammer, and then we can just keep it going with our fusion, Bonk Hammer, as well as our weapons. So this build has been a lot of fun so far this season. Haven't brought Ashen Wakes out in a second, and they are totally worth it in my opinion. Very fun. And with this build, you can stun every type of champion like I was talking about. We got our fusions for Unstoppable, we got our auto rifle for that overload, and then we have the Strand with Unraveling for anti-barrier. So versatility of this build is endless, plus you're helping out your homies with fire sprites, orbs of power, as well as sunspots, and that powerful friends on our helmet. So the jack of all trades with this build, definitely good for every type of content you can go into. Raids, master, strikes, master raid, master dungeon, even if you wanted. So definitely give it a try. Very, very fun. Let me know what y'all think. We got a Shards of Galanor video for our hunter coming out, doing some 3 solar builds to start us out, and then we'll move on to some new ones. But definitely be ready for a lot of content coming out here for the December month and into the new year, with it slowing down a little bit in February. We'll be branching out, doing some other little games for y'all, definitely trying to keep up the interesting content. So thank y'all again, truly appreciate it. One Eye Jedi on all my socials. Join up on the Discord so you don't miss out on any of this wonderful content. Love helping you guys out, appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.